Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry, and you are tuning in to the Speakers Magazine show. We are live, but you can also, if you're watching the replay, thank you. Share if you are live so that we kind of know where you're coming from, or give us some chats or some love over there in LinkedIn, which I love, and YouTube. And we're also on the Speakers Magazine Facebook show. So I really want you to get your notebooks ready for John Register. I found out about this gentleman through NSA, but I think I may have been like some of the last people to find out about him because he is fabulous. He's a Hall of Fame speaker, first of all. And you will hear him and see why his story is so inspiring. It's not the typical rags to riches story. He has built within his repertoire of speaking faith, leadership, uh, health. Uh, anyway, before I give away all the things, I'm going to bring him up right after this. There you go. Hey there.
I love it. Love it. Dr. Perry, Pam
Uh,
Perry. What's
hey,
up?
but you sound like you could do a voiceover for me. There you go. There you go. I love it. I love it. Well, I want people to understand. First of all, thank you for your service because you're an Army veteran, and you also had something happen to you in your life that most people would say, "Throw in the towel. What am I going to do next?" And truthfully, some people, when they have traumatic things happen to them, they live in trauma and they live a victim. Sometimes they get caught up in drugs, alcohol,
Mhm.
or worse. But you decided to turn your adversity into a opportunity to really speak and inspire others. So tell us what the origin story was, Mr. Register, and where you got the courage to really bounce back. And
Yeah, you can call me John. Please
okay,
call me
all right.
John. Do not call me. I'm looking for my dad around this. So, uh, I was a world-class athlete, ran track and field for the University of Arkansas, go Pigs. And while I was there, I became a three-time All-American and went to the Olympic trials, my first Olympic trials in the high hurdles and in the long jump. After school was over and I graduated, I was still had that bug to continue to run track. And even though I had a job that was lined up in Mississippi for an entry level position at a radio and television station, I decided to enter in the United States Army in order to continue to run track and field, the world class athlete program. So this allowed a soldier athlete to train 2 years prior to any Olympic Games. And I said, you know what? I just made the Olympic trials. I can make that program.
Mhm.
And I did. But on my way to those that program, Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm came up, and I was diverted to the Gulf War. So I went and served in the Gulf War for 7 months. Came back without a scratch, but I was too out of shape and out of rhythm to run the high hurdles any longer. So my coach switched me to the 400-meter hurdle race. One
Mhm.
time around the track, over 10 obstacles, spaced 35 meters apart. And I found my niche. I'm oh my gosh, this is my race. And in my fifth race ever, I qualified for the Olympic trials. My sixth race, I finished up 17th in those trials. And I said, I'm going to re up for another 4 years because I know I can make that Olympic team 4 years down the road. I
Mhm.
also was loving the United States Army. I had never thought about joining before, and I was really enjoying my time in service. So I took the officer selection battery test. And then I was boarded by a group of officers over in Germany when I was stationed there. And I had a class date coming up for officer candidate school. So I had two careers that were on parallel paths: the Olympics and the um,
Officers
and the
training.
military school.
Mhm. Mhm.
On May 17th, 1994, I'm training for my third Olympic trials in Hayes, Kansas, and the wind's blowing hard. And I wind up misstepping a hurdle in a practice session. I land on my left leg. My left leg buckles into me. It snaps, it cracks,
Mhm.
and the dislocation has severed my popliteal artery. 7 days later, I'm in a hospital bed in Wichita, Kansas, Wesley Medical Center, and Dr. Randy Mullins says you got a tough choice to make. You can keep your leg, use a walker or a wheelchair for the rest of your life, or I can amputate your leg. You can use a prosthesis for the rest of your life.
Mm.
What kind of choice is that? Two careers gone. Uh, I began going down a downward spiral. It wasn't no, give me. It wasn't downward spiral because of despair. It was a downward spiral because I didn't know what the next move was. I knew it was not to run in the Olympic Games. I knew it was not to go to officer candidate school. So what was God's play here? That's
Mm,
what I was in the moment of. And it was my
mhm.
wife, Alice, that stopped that downward spiral because she said to me, John, you know what? We're going to get through this time together. It's just our new normal. And when
Mhm.
she spoke those words, she baselined my entire existence, undergirded me with that love. And I began to refocus, repurpose, see what was the next thing for my life. I end-timed my service in the military. I wound up working for the military in the World Class Athlete Program, so helping other athletes that were in the military try to make the Olympic team. I
Okay.
swam for physical therapy,
Oh,
and 27 months later, I somehow fluked up, messed up, and made the Paralympic swim team.
okay.
So for folks out there knowing, the Paralympic Games are for athletes with physical disabilities and visual impairment, not the Special Olympics. There's also confused with Special Olympics, but the Paralympic Games are physical disabilities, right, and visual impairment. Uh, and that's where I saw athletes running and jumping with these artificial limbs. I said, "Oh my gosh, I have to get one of those things made." So I had a leg made for running. I learned how to run on the artificial leg and jump, and wound up going to Sydney, Australia 4 years later, made the team, and then won the Paralympic long jump silver medal.
Wow.
Games, there it is right there,
Oh my
the
God.
silver
That
medal.
I tell you, God does
Um,
not waste anything,
doesn't
right?
waste anything.
No, no.
So it doesn't, and so I want to say one more thing, because you could stop there too, right? People, sometimes we get to a level and we coast. We say, "Oh, I
Mhm.
made it," but I still wanted to contribute. So I shifted jobs. I was hired by the United States Olympic Committee, and I built out what became known as the Paralympic Military Sport Program. And this program worked with wounded, ill, and injured service members to use sports as a tool for their rehabilitation. That program turned into Warrior Games, that still runs by the Department of Defense, and
Mm,
Prince Harry's Invictus Games. So he came
mhm.
over in 2013. I briefed his team on how I built this program, and now they're running Invictus Games. So when you say God doesn't waste anything, what is the path that God has us on? And do we have the courage to
Mm,
walk on the steps that are laid before us?
mhm. That part. That is
That
the
part.
courage. But the thing that is really interesting is that you were on a path of, it seems like no matter where you're set, you're going to lead or invent or take charge or see something that's this way, but it's like, okay, but it's really like this. So when you were in, I guess you said officers training school or that sort of thing, it was like the leader in you was like, I was going to either be a leader in the army, or I'm going to be the leader doing the thing that you birthed, right? You wouldn't have chose it, right? This is a roundabout way, but it's something that has been now part of your purpose, and
It
that is
is. It it
that's
it, it
the amazing part, because you wouldn't have done this, those things would not have happened if the bad thing hadn't happened to you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say what would have happened, right? I just don't know what the parallel path is, and so it's very difficult. A lot of times we hear, and I've said it myself. What would I tell my previous self at 29 or 16? It's a fictitious question because I can't go back. I can do nothing about that period of time to change my existence right now. Plus, I haven't learned the lessons I learned all along the way. But it's when I was at that age. But what I can do, and how I shift the question, I think I got this from Donna St. Louis, is to
And on.
forecast out 20, 30 years from now and where I see myself there. Right. And then, because I can do something about that. Now, if I see in my faith or my family, my friendships, my relationships, my business, I can see where I desire to be. Now, let me back up and make a runway to that, because
Mhm,
I can change those things. And what do I need to cut out of my life? What do I need to amputate out of my life in order to elevate my success?
mhm. And orchestrate the things that you see, the vision. So
The
you had
vision.
vision. That is one of the key things. So let's talk about your speaking business, speaking
Mhm.
career. Hall of Fame speaker. Tell people what these initials are behind your name: CSP, CPAE. Tell us
Yes.
what those are and how you decided to go for those.
So I didn't. So I'll start for the first one. The CSP is called is designated as the Certified Speaking Professional. So
Mhm.
this is the highest designation that you can earn as a professional speaker in the National Speakers Association. It's the only association for the professional speakers. So think about your conference planners. They are part of this. They have the CMP, Certified Meeting Professional, right? So
Mhm.
think about a doctor that goes through and has their certifications. You go through to mitigate risk for the planner,
Yes.
right? And I chose to get my CSP because I realized, not the designation, I realized that going for this would meant that I had built a business. That's what I was after it for. I would have
Mm.
built a business. So I was very targeted with the CSP. So that was critical. The
And
CPAE stands for Council of Peers
well, we can let
Award.
people know really, really quick, John,
Yeah,
that CSP means that you apply for it and you have to make a certain requirement. You
income.
have to speak
Right.
so much like $50,000 a year over so many years, so many speeches have been paid. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I've been speaking for a long time. I'll go and get my CSP." No, it's a
No.
business. So that's really the main thing. So they look at your records, they look at your taxes and things like that, the receipts, the real receipts, and you put it in an Excel sheet, and you really have to be vetted by the organization. So
Yeah.
it is the highest honor, but it also takes a level of organization that most speakers is like, oh, I just love to speak. But no, if you want it to be a business, it is that what when you see the CSP behind someone's name, you know that they're really serious about speaking. Okay, so I
Yeah,
just want to
yeah,
let
you
people
should know
know
your
about
income, right? You should know what's coming up every year, because
that.
that's how you know you've sort of built you built a business. I think the other thing that's important about the CSP is that you have to get validation from the people that you spoke to,
Ah,
and you have to get at least 20 of those people to say that you did good work for them.
ooh,
so
okay.
so
So
you
yeah.
have to go back and get their validation, and then your video is reviewed by a group of certified speaking professionals to see if if you meet the qualification standard in a uncut, unedited. You whatever goes wrong technically, you got to be able to fix those things, right? So all that stuff you have to do to earn the CSP. So thank you for building that out. Now,
Mhm.
the Council of Peer for Award for Excellence. This is different. It's the as I've been researching this, more and more, uh, this is probably one of the highest awards that I believe I've ever received, even kind of beyond the silver medal. And I'll tell you why. Because the silver medal for me is a past experience. Being in a Hall of Fame for Arkansas, or being in a Hall of Fame for my alma mater of Oak Park River Forest High School, which has we have a really high standard of graduate that came through there. The multiple ethnic Hall of Fame, the Chicagoland Sports Hall of Fame. Those are all because of past experiences
Mm,
for
mhm,
primarily athletics.
mhm.
This award, a Hall of Fame, is given when you're still doing your business. Your peers have said, you're doing fantastic work. You know what?
Ah,
You're making an impact out there, and we see it. We see that you are not only taking care of your client, but you are somebody who's showing up in the world in just a different way, and you are elevating elevating humanity with your words. You are
okay.
lifting humanity with your words. You are doing something that is on a different level than other people are doing it, and we want to recognize you for that. So this
Mhm.
comes in from not only CPAEs, but also CSPs can nominate, as well as speaker bureaus can nominate people who they see globally around this world, and part of the National Speakers Association. But the award can be awarded like as international as well, with other federations of speaker. But just for this one, is I was when I got the call that I was a CPAE, um, I had no words, because I
Wow.
began to understand the gravity of what that really means.
'Cause
That
it's a
this is
high
not something
continuum.
that you can earn, right? This is
Mhm.
based on what other people see in you. This is like, think about marketing. In marketing is not what I say about myself. Marketing about what
Uh,
other people say about me, right?
mhm,
So
mhm.
so that's why that award is so special.
I know that is, and it's current. It's an ing. It is
It's
what they see you doing and continuing to do versus a
that's
hall
right.
of fame, which is good, but it's what you said is based on what you've done. And but this means like, you really are making that impact. I call it ing. It's continual. It's a
It's
continual, and
continual.
it's what other
And
people seeing
I
it as
think
well.
even with the continuation of it, right? So there is an element that I have to still be more than excellent to
Hmm.
continue to deserve what they saw in me. So
Hmm.
it's a continuum. And again, for the conference meeting professionals out there, again, it mitigates risk.
Yes.
Your job is to mitigate. You want to put the best person on that stage, and you don't want them to flop.
Hmm.
So you want to
Hmm.
mitigate your risk. So if you go, you can find that 15-minute TEDx speaker that was out there, had the one-shot wonder, and they can't hold an audience for 15 minutes because the lights went out, fire alarm went off, and they don't know what to do. You
Hmm.
have to be able to have someone that can mitigate the risk and lead from that stage when you give them that microphone to elevate your conference, not them, your conference.
I love that. I love that. That's one of the reasons why I created Speakers Magazine, because I want people to be able to pick up the magazine and know about other speakers, what they're doing, follow them, look at their leads, whether it's JJ Conway, and seeing other speakers, seeing themselves in this person or seeing themselves
Mhm.
in you. Speaking of which, I'm going to play something really, really quick. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm trying to do my little producer type of things here, but we'll bring you back right after this.
Okay.
Are you ready to elevate your speaking career and be a part of a movement that amplifies Black voices? Speakers Magazine is your go-to resource highlighting top speakers, industry insights, and strategies to take your platform to the next level. Subscribe today and unlock the blueprint for speaker success. Visit www.speakersmagazine.com, the #1 magazine for Black speakers. Subscribe now and start your journey to success. Amplify your voice. Subscribe today.
All
Oh, I
right.
love that. Oh,
That was
that's hot.
that was
That's
that was
fire.
none
That's
other
fire.
than
That is fire.
when say God doesn't waste anything. That was my husband. He is in advertising, so he wanted to do the voiceover, and they actually put this together. That whole little thing for you. So let's see how this works. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like a real producer over here. Let's
You
put in
you
some of
you
this
you doing the
B-roll.
thing. You doing it. You doing it. That's you, I'm taking all them ideas. Right down right here. That was good. That's a keeper. Y'all put that one down. Take that one. That's good. That was good.
Because I don't really consider myself a speaker. I'm a publicist, so I promote. But that was one scene of me on stage speaking, and that was I was speaking at Della Toro's Anointed for Business conference, and that was one little piece of B-roll and that kind of thing. So I see where Dell is in that whole class with you, uh, Dr. Willie Jolly, you. There's some really really good ones. Simon
Les
Bailey.
Brown.
Les Brown, definitely the GOAT, right? The Les
Go.
Brown. It's something that I see that for me as a publicist, I wouldn't want to promote anything or anybody or any other type of thing other than things that inspire and impact people. So I've done PR and I've worked with, you know, hamburgers and donuts, Dunkin' Donuts, nothing wrong with that. And, you can promote anything, but I prefer to promote people that I know are making an impact and make a difference. So that's why I say I just love what you do. Your story is inspiring. Now, you have all these initials behind your name and you've built the business. Is your main business, or what I say, your main stream of income, maybe platform speaking, corporate contracts, or is it something else?
Yeah, primarily our revenue stream starts off with the main thing that I do, and that's on the platform. That's the platform
Good.
speaker, keynote speaker.
Hmm.
But what's happening is, and for those out there, when you're looking at this, right? I tend to look at it as a very targeted framework. So think of a bullseye, for example. We want to go very specific into what we do because on the other side it blows out. So if I'm very targeted as a keynote speaker and I'm delivering on one thing, then other people see that one thing done in excellence and they want it for their organizations. So what do I
Hmm.
mean? Let me give you an example. So I've been keynoting, and now someone says to me, an organization says, "Oh my gosh, can you speak to our leadership team?" Now it's Keynote and a fireside chat. Now it's Keynote and a breakfast for their leadership team. Now I have that's a whole other segment that I can add in as an add-on to the business. Well, does what leadership team want this? So then you can start building out these other things, but first dial in on that one thing you do. Don't be scattered all over the place. Really try to focus it on the one thing, and then let it organically span. You'll find out where you can go. I think the other thing then is the other revenue streams that we're trying to look at is I'm kind of new to this as far as full-time in this profession. I've been speaking a long time, but full-time has been, I'm kind of throwing stuff at the wall, right? I'm seeing what is it that I really want to do and show up, and how do I want to serve in the best way possible. So we're putting something together right now on Beehive. It's not out just yet. It's going to be out inside of a week. So there's a waiting list to get in on it. But what we want to do is corral all those voices that are out there on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, and having all these other conversations. Let's get them all in the room, one location, and then have a conversation that really elevates this talk right here, whether it's professional speaking or pretty much with the CEOs, how the CEOs are speaking to their organizations. Because right now we have at this time of this broadcast, which you need to be listen to every time on this, because Speaker Magazine is incredible. We need to look at how, like Amazon right now, they have made the mandate, they've made the decision to bring everybody back into the office. How does that hit you? How does that relate to you? How can we talk about this when many people experience the pandemic in very different ways? So that's a targeted decision that they made. And I'm not kicking against it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that the leadership has said, you can now self-select out, because this is the direction we're going to go in. So you have to be able to, as a speaker, be able to see those trends and help other people navigate around that uncertainty that may have just hit them in their life, right? So that's how we show up for other individuals. And so that's my revenue stream, is keynote speaking, and now we're breaking out to the corporate boardroom, and then now we're going to go even deeper into, let's get everybody that really came from those events, and I capture them through Talk It Out.
Talk It Out. Yeah, Ariel Moody has been on our
Ariel
program
Moody.
before. Yes.
You can talk a lot. You can talk it out.
But Talk It Out is a way. One of the things what you said, in order to have a CSP, that people need to get those recommendations, and so it's a great way to capture those recommendations right there in real time and turn them over to the meeting planner. So I like you said something about the Beehive. So is that going to be something new? Is formalized? Is formulating and going to be formalized?
No, I'm very real. I'm very raw. I'm very real, because I want people to learn from my lessons.
Okay.
Right. And so when I was using Talk It Out, I looked up and I said, oh my gosh, there's 6,000 people that are following that said they want to follow me. And what was I giving them? Nothing. Right. So I began to say, I asked the question, what do y'all want in this community? We're going to build a community. We're going to put this on Mighty Networks, and it's still there. What do you want? And so they started telling me two different things. One, how to be better at my speaking, my craft. That was one. The other was, I want to impact more people in my organization, my business. I want to be a better leader. So those were kind of two distinct tracks that came out, and I try to morph them kind of together, because to be a better leader, you got to be a better speaker and those type of things. So I built out a course called JR's 90-Day Leadership Sprints.
Oh, that's perfect. I love that.
And that is great. I thought so too, but no one signed up for it. We have, they're like 10 or 12 people in there, right? They signed up. It's a fantastic thing. We have masterminds in there that are not run by me. We're building community. It's all over the world. The lady that runs it, she lives in Denmark, right? So we have she runs her own business of these widgets.
And it's only 90 days.
No, it's 90-day sprint. So we have 4 of these sprints, so it will take you the entire year to get through it. But you want these 90-day sprints, because most of the time what happens is we only take the one thing, we work on it a week, and we were done, or a day. We get a thing a day. And I think in order to be excellent and master your craft, you have to at least spend 90 days in it. and we're giving you something. We're learning from Olympians. We're learning from like Bonnie St. John, Rhodes Scholar, Paralympian.
Yeah,
We're,
Bonnie's a
we're learning
client of
from,
mine.
yeah, I mean, just some incredible people that are in there in this course. And it's not really a course. It's like you learn it, we talk about it, and then we have a executive training on it. So let me get to the Beehive. So a beautiful friend of mine was speaking on the main stage at Influence this year, the National Speakers Association Influence Conference, our national conference. About maybe I'd say 40% were new people that were in there, and the speakers were just rocking off the charts. It was crazy good. But there's always a breakout speaker for me, and this speaker, Sonia Dumas. And Sonia Dumas, you got to have her on the show. She took that AI and went to a different level with it. And I said, I got to know this woman here. So I found her. I went to Dallas where she lives, and I spent 4 hours in a class with her. Why? Because you need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in your business. You need to invest so that you can be better and stay ahead of the curves that might be coming. Right. So I took that. I said, I got to get with her. And she told me, you got all these things out here. Let's get you into one hub. Let's get everybody together so that we can have targeted conversations with them, right? And then let's put a very monetized price tag on it, so it's not going to break anybody's bank, so we can capture the ones that just won't pay the 5,000, 10,000, whatever money that we want. So we put a price tag of $100 for the year. $100. And if you want the exclusive content, which is going to include the JR 9-day live, $297 for the year. That's it.
Like that. So you put them all together.
You put them all together, and now we can. It's easy for people to get in. And let's be frank. You know, the challenge is not the information. The challenge is not the content. The challenge is the action steps and being held accountable to the content that you're supposed to do.
That's right.
That's the challenge. We start going off in 1,000 different directions. So we're going to focus that content and really help people with wherever they are and elevate them. Amputate to elevate. We're elevating people and getting rid of the stuff that holds them back and elevating what's getting them there.
I love that. And that'll be on that Mighty Network, which Ready, Set, Go Speak is on the Mighty Network.
It's going to be on Beehive. I'll put out there. It's John Register .beehive BEEHIIV.com, but it ain't ready yet.
It ain't ready yet, but it's coming. So we can add in
that's coming. That's coming quick.
I like that. And that again, everywhere that you land or you see opportunity, or because you're studying trends or you're reading, you're always learning. God will pop in that other ideas for you to do for this season, for this time. And that is, you had that, but now we're going to put it in with this, making it affordable for people to really level up in their thing. Because if we all rise together, then the whole industry rises and everybody's doing really, really well. That's what we really want. That is the thing. That is the juice. I find, and we got a couple of minutes, that what I see what you're doing is from a pure heart. But I will say, being in this business for a while, I've seen a lot of speakers that do well speaking, but sometimes if they don't do so well, like they're not getting booked a lot, they'll just say, well, let me go teach people how to speak. And what happens is they teach other people how to speak like them. And I find, like, I have never seen as many people teaching other people how to speak than I have today. Like, I mean, there's NSA and there's Toastmasters and there's all those, but I'm talking about individual, like I'm the academy, I'm the university, and I'm like, wow, it is like become, I had someone tell me, said, it's like real estate used to be back in the 90s. It's like, is this a new hustle? Like, what is this? So
it's a hustle.
It's a hustle. But what it is, you have to watch, and I wrote a blog about it on my other blog, Pam Perry PR, that you have to not just always just believe the hype and really look under the hood, look at the motives, why people are doing what they're doing, look at how they have run their business, and realize that it's no magic wand. You cannot take someone's course and be $1 million, 7-figure speaker. You know, that sounds good. And I guess itchy ears wants to hear that, but it does take what you said, implementation, getting the information and then implementing what you learn. And that is where the good students will do that. The students that are like the F students, or the D students, they're in the back and they're not doing the homework. They just sitting up here in the class and they just cracking
Yeah.
jokes. Okay. So you want the
And
A and B students, because they're going to they can go to the front of the class, and they'll be the ones to be at the graduation, with the prize. So yeah, so I appreciate that. So I want people to go to johnregister.com so they can stay connected to you, follow you on your
yes.
Instagram, your Facebook, but make sure you have an email list. I'm sure you do.
Yep. So you get on the email list. If you can just go to johnregister.com, there's a pop-up that comes up. Just put your information in there and we'll make sure that you are on that newsletter. And then you'll get all that information on when Beehive actually drops and goes live. I want to say I've enjoyed this. I'm not, even though I coach speakers, I'm not a speaker coach. I just want to make that clear. I'm not in that race right there.
No,
I'm
I
trying
know
to
you
elevate
are.
people's lives where they are. So if you just happen to be a speaker and that's your bag, we can do that. You're not going to be a John Register speaker. I'm not going to, I don't need you to say the words I say. You have your own life to live. You have your own DNA print. So let's elevate that and not elevate me and you.
I love that. And that's why I really, really enjoy listening to you, because I hear the authenticity, the purpose, the passion, the why, the bigger why. And you have what I call the it factor. And you had the it factor before you even started speaking, but now the it factor is just magnified. It's just magnified and verified with the letters behind your name as well. So it's magnified and verified. So how about that? So John, thank you so much for joining us today. I want people to go to johnregister.com. They can get all the information. And I want them to take a look at your speaker reel. It's pretty hot. Okay. I really, really like that. So we are doing an event where we're helping people put together their speaker reels, but yours was really good. It was your story. It had a lot of B-roll. Very, very well done. So thank you so much.
We could talk about that next time. We can talk about what I do for how we do business, how we do the business, how we actually do the business.
Yes, because it is a business. Even though you may have a passion for it, you turn passion into profit when you turn it into a business. So thank you so much for joining us today, Speakers Magazine. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon. I'll have you back.
Thanks, Dr. Perry. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.